So I've been working on Earthward for almost 2 years now, and I think we're finally starting to make some progress. I've just sort of been working on the back end of the game. The inventory was a pretty big one that I ended up reworking like 3 times, but nothing, and I mean nothing, can console you from having to rip out thousands of lines of code. But if I've learned anything from watching Kung Fu Panda, it's that scars do heal. So I picked myself up off the metaphorical ground and got back to working on deserialization, so that way you guys could mod the game. Little did I know that it would take about 3 times as long as making the inventory system. I just want to put this out there, GameMaker's file system is absolutely terrible. You have a working directory, which is where you have all of your included files, so that's going to be where all of like the modded files go when you want to add something to the game. And then you have your game save ID, but the actual path where this is going to save your file depends on if you've exported it or if you're doing it inside the actual IDE or inside GameMaker itself. The best part about deserializing things to begin with is that you can make changes while the game is running, and so you don't have to recompile everything, which would mean that I need to have a copy of all of my files stored somewhere else on my computer, and that's kind of annoying. Okay, so while I was recording this video, I looked up the file sandbox system, and in a very, very big orange highlighted button that has the text important, it says that you can disable the file system sandbox in the game options, which means you can save and load wherever you want on the system. There goes 1 week of my whole life. World generation has always been a pretty big issue for me because I'm trying to find like a good balance between having it feel more random but also not too predictable, so that way the player can sort of get a feel for what's going on. To keep things interesting, I also want to make it so that the different worlds have different styles of world generation, so maybe in Toadstool Valley I can add some different like protrusions from the walls or from the ground or something like that to kind of keep things fresh, and maybe for the more dungeon-esque places I can have it be a little bit more rigid and sort of more predictable. But the way it works is kind of cool. It's possible for you guys to also create your own world generation. All of the worlds and all of the tile sets and things like that are all serialized in JSON. So if you wanted, you can go ahead and edit those files yourself. The reason why I'm making this possible is because I think it would just be so fun to just be able to add your own items and change all of the textures. I think that would just be so much fun, even if there's not like official modding support. It's also fun just for me too, because it makes development easier, because instead of having to hard code a bunch of values, I can just open up this file somewhere else and then edit that, and then I can use that in my game. Another big thing I'm trying to figure out right now is the crafting system. I really do like the idea of being able to combine different things inside of your inventory, like how Magicite does it. You can only make so many things by just combining stuff together, and a lot of the times you're just sort of combining the same item with itself, which doesn't really feel all that fun. I'm gonna see if I can come up with a better crafting system, but if not, I think it's okay. I can make this current one work. It would just take a little bit more effort and more creativity, and I'd have to change the kind of items or maybe add like NPC shops or something like that. I think you guys should give me some ideas in the comments. And speaking of feedback, I also want to work on creating a demo for the game. It's really hard to get actual feedback when the only people who are giving that feedback haven't played the game and they're just sort of seeing what's on my screen. I think it's a good idea to have a real playable demo, even if it's only just like a very small slice or like a vertical slice of the game. I am going to steal your feedback and use it for my benefit. Oh, I also completely forgot to mention, I started adding controller support for the game, but I'm only kind of like halfway through doing that right now, so you can't really select the menu buttons that well yet. I don't really use controllers a lot when I play a game unless I absolutely have to, so I'm not really sure what makes a game fun when you're using controllers. So if any of you people watching this are controller gamers, please tell me in the comments. I am in the process of trying to fund an animated trailer for Earthward. I think it would be a really good way to get more eyes and attention on the project. Once I have decided on the actual dates for the Kickstarter, I will tell everyone beforehand, so make sure that you are subscribed and that you have notifications on, so that way you know when any new content has appeared. I'll be talking more about the art and the music and things like that in future devlogs, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.